start with. I am Megan Brenwhite, in case you haven't guessed that yet. I am the head of the Upstate Curious Team at Compass. That's our official name, powered by Place, which is our business partner. That combination of Compass and Place becomes very important to talking about this team. And the whole reason why we're talking to you guys now, we've never actually tried to recruit agents before. So this is a pretty exciting moment. I'm also an associate broker, which means that I have been a real estate salesperson myself. I did enough deals and spent enough time that I was able to get my next license, which is the associate broker license, which means that I could go off and we could have Upstate Curious be its own brokerage, but I have chosen not to for a bunch of reasons. So that means associate broker. So in case you all don't know what those, since many of you probably haven't done your coursework yet, that is one of the distinctions that you'll see. Who we have here also is Erica, who is our director of operations, and so sort of hinting is a former client of ours, and which is phenomenal. And she is another reason why we're able to have this conversation about adding more agents to our team. And yet another reason why we're able to have this conversation about adding more agents to our team is sitting next to her on my screen, at least, SJ, Sarah Jane, who is our head of marketing. So marketing is one of the things that I'm still very involved with, but SJ has taken a massive amount off of my plate and gone above and beyond what we were able to do before. So we are at a position now with our team where we have the right infrastructure and we actually are able to talk about growing. And that is super exciting because I really believe primarily that our team with our partners, with the admin staff that we have here is I believe that every buyer and seller should have representation as good as I know our agents are going to represent them. Our agents plus the team we have supporting them. Like, I think we do a killer job. I believe that every real estate agent should have the kind of opportunities, access to the kind of opportunities that we're able to offer them, which, with our partnership with Place begins to include things like health insurance, different streams of income, stock options, stuff we never had before. So to give you just like a little itty bitty update on how we got to this place, I moved here from Brooklyn, from Clinton Hill at the end. I'd lived in Brooklyn for 16 years, always came on vacation here for probably the last 10 years of us being there. We came to a wedding first in High Falls, fell in love with the area, kept coming up, and we're going to buy a weekend home, my husband and I. And then as we were buying this house that I'm sitting in right now, we kind of decided that we could move up here full time. And he was teaching at the Pratt Institute. He's an industrial designer and was able to switch his schedule around. So it was one of these like early half-time upstate, half-time in the city kind of guys. And yeah, we just decided we were going to move up here full time. We rented out our condo in the city, sold it after 2 years, ended up using that money from selling it and buying. Now I own 7 other properties upstate that are varying degrees of rentals, essentially. And this has completely changed my life. I was not a real estate agent in Brooklyn. I always wanted to be, and was a marketing person and had gotten involved in this international higher education marketing world, which sounds so specific and kind of is. But I was like one of the experts in it and was flying all around the world and speaking at conferences and training people. I'd written a book about it. And I had to kind of give up being an expert in my field to being like a dum-dum in my field. So it's hard. It's hard. This is a lot of people's second careers. And if you're good at what you were doing before, it can be kind of hard to be like, I am not yet good at what I'm doing. That's new. So that is one of the first things I would say to anybody thinking about this career, is that there is some ramp up time. There is some ramp up time in terms of how you get to be an expert at what you're doing and how you earn your money, basically. Now, again, like the ramp up time is much shorter, I think, with any team. And I think it is much shorter with our team than it would be in a lot of places. And it is much shorter with our team now than it would have been a year ago. So we've had 2 people join the team in June, one of whom was a brand new agent, had gotten his license, just was with another team for about 3 weeks before joining. He's had 4 accepted offers already. Another agent who had been working in Brooklyn for over a decade had just moved upstate. She's had 3 accepted offers since June. So for those of you who are not currently agents, I think the average agent in the United States earns like 14 cents a year. Like it's something that just is like wild. Like most people do this part-time, even agents who are working full-time upstate, if you are making something like, I don't know, if you're taking home 60K a year, you're probably in like the top 5% of agents here. Our agents on our team, the expectation is that we want everybody to like want or need to make at least 6 figures, at least within a year. That is like because it is so possible with the resources that we provide and the training we provide and the leads and everything, that like if you're not doing that, it probably isn't a great fit. And there is a lot more room for earning pretty far above that, which we've seen with a lot of our agents. So the purpose of this conversation was because we did write to everybody. We did post on Instagram, hey, we're looking for new agents. We started to get messages from people who don't have licenses yet, or who hadn't worked upstate yet, or whatever. And so we were like, okay, let's just like gather everybody together and have a general conversation about it instead of doing a bunch of one-on-one ones. You can also ask questions in here throughout the entire time. Our team covers 12 or 13 counties. So it's, the focus is on the second home market. It's not just that, but it probably still is like 95% that people selling their second homes, people buying second homes. It's why there's a certain design aesthetic that you see on their listings a lot. And what you don't see a lot yet is that it is a very similar design aesthetic to where we're representing the buyers. So we're doing around now, probably this year, we'll do around 200 sides, which means it's 200 clients we're representing. One side is we're representing the seller. We sell that house. That's one side. If we represent the seller and anybody on our team works with the buyer, that counts as 2 sides in one transaction. So it's basically the number of clients we're working with. Because we cover such a broad area, like this has grown almost entirely through Instagram, by the way. So I just planted itty bitty seeds everywhere because, I mean, our clients wanted to go everywhere. Most of our clients are like, we want to be within 2.5 hours of the city, which then it includes this massive radius. And they're not wrong. There's cool places in all those places, but essentially what that meant is that finding the clients through Instagram meant that if it was my friends, so this is what's called your like sphere of influence. If I were to find my business through my friends, the likelihood that they would know each other or would kind of run in the same social circles is pretty high. Through Instagram, it's like we make one little dot here and someone's working at Google in this department, and this one little dot here and someone's a teacher at a school. So we're like essentially getting into all of these different groups of people. And then with the listings, we're getting into all of these different areas, and there's almost unlimited growth potential. So Compass has been an amazing, amazing resource for us, amazing brand that's very well recognized. It's the biggest brand. It's the biggest brokerage in New York City for residential stuff. People know it. They associate it with good design and good agents. We are getting probably now 2 to 3 referrals per week from Compass agents around the country, which is wild. I went to a top producer event in San Diego for Compass, and Robert Refkin, the CEO, was like, who's gotten 5 referrals from other Compass agents? Tons of hands raised. Who's gotten 10 referrals? I was the only hand that was raised, and we've only been there for about a year and a half. So what our team is doing in terms of Compass referrals is wild. It has completely raised the average price per home, which is a relevant thing for you guys to know. So that's a little over 800 now, 800,000 for the listing side. It's about 650 for the buyer side. Both of those include land. We've never broken it out for just residential. So assume land is $100,000. So the actual numbers for residential is much higher. So it's, we're more than double what the average price of a home is here. Place, the way that I look at place, the easiest way for you guys to understand it is you're thinking about maybe joining a team because you're going to get, I know you all will talk about this. You're going to get resources, you're going to get training, you're going to be able to focus on the stuff that makes sense for you as an agent to focus on in the future, which is getting new leads, converting them, serving them, rinse and repeat. We have the transaction coordinators who will help call the attorney. And you guys do not know, most of you, how annoying this stuff is to be like, hey, did you write a contract yet? Amazing. Hey, did you send that contract yet? Amazing. Hey, did you receive that contract yet? Amazing. Hey, did you schedule a time to talk to your buyer yet? I mean, you cannot believe that we have to have 2 full-time people on our team, literally just following up to make sure other people are doing their jobs. God bless them, but that's what they do. They do all the stuff that is not for agents or that you don't need to do. We have a marketing team where if you're listing something, you just fill out a form and it kicks in all this stuff. We have a full-time staff photographer. We have SJ. I'm writing the social copy. I'm picking the social images. All of this stuff, just like we do the Zillow showcase things, which gets you higher up in the algorithm for Zillow and a Zillow tour, 3D tour. We have a PR person on retainer for special listings. All of this support so that you can do more transactions and that you have more kind of opportunities. The same thing is true for me with Place. I split my net profits with Place. They're a partner company. And what they do is give us wildly helpful, unbelievable support. And they have a team for legal things. They have a huge design team. They have a technology team. Our CRM system comes from Place. It's called Brivity, but it doesn't just come from Place. They literally helped us import everything from our last CRM system into this one. They give us auto plans. We get I'll show you guys later. It's like, here's what an agent should do every day. Step 1, click here, do this. Step 2, click here, do this. It is unbelievable. So Place teams, when you join a Place team, the expectation is that in your first year, you'll do 24 transactions, which again is wild. When I had my first mentor at Coldwell Banker, that's the second place I started here, she said she's been an agent in this area for about 20 years. And she was like, I never do more than 14 transactions a year. It's impossible to do more than that. So I'm not saying, and Trish is here from Place, I'm not saying that you're going to do 24 transactions a year on our team. I think I do actually think that might be ambitious. I do think though that our price point is higher than in a lot of places. So again, should you be making over 100K a year? Absolutely. That is facts, especially when we start to bring in different sources of income, which we don't need to talk about right now. But this has put us, there also is the other thing that's really important to mention is that Place helps us a lot with our new agent onboarding. So let's say you get your license, you join the team, you're going to be put into you're going to have a Brivity fundamentals course, which will show you how the CRM works. You're going to have a new agent pathway that literally you're going to be a group of other agents. They're going to help you get exactly prepared the way you need to get prepared, but also you'll be building business at that time. You'll be calling your own sphere of influence people, you'll be previewing houses, you'll be doing things that will actually help you build your business. So I think that's really important just to know that that's also the other reason I can have this conversation with you guys. And we will have hired, I believe, 10 new agents within about a month and a half already. So the fact that I'm even talking to y'all is kind of wild. But I know that if most of you are unlicensed, you got a couple months at least before, you get into this. And Todd's asked about the NAR settlement. So if you guys haven't seen this in the news and you are interested in real estate and currently living under a rock, you would know that August 17th, there was this was when the impact of the NAR settlement, this is when the real estate community across the entire country had to make changes where every buyer to see a house is going to have to sign a buyer representation agreement with their agent. There is decoupling of the buyer and the listing agent cooperating broker commission. So it used to be we would talk to a seller, say, hey, these are just random numbers. 6% is our listing fee. We're going to keep 3% for the listing side. We're going to offer out 3% to the buyer side. The buyer agent would just look at the MLS. They would know what it was offering. It never mattered. You don't really care. Like you're going to represent your buyer if it's 2% or 3%. Like you don't get to like choose not to do that. That's steering. That is why this lawsuit, one of the reasons this lawsuit came about. What I would say is that, to Todd's point, we've been talking a lot about it. We have a lot of resources from Compass and Place, and I think that we're going to be able to take additional market share because of this. Like it's one of the things that I think that one of the reasons I think we're going to keep growing, because I feel really well prepared for this moment and I feel super excited about it. And all the agents know they're prepared for the next month to be like a shit show, for lack of a better word. We're dealing with other people, buyers, or this is the first, time they're hearing about it. Sellers, it's the first time they're hearing about it. Agents are confused. They're not getting as much training as we are necessarily. Shit show is a strong word. I would say that like, we're going to spend the next month learning. We're going to be learning. We've been role playing and practicing scripts on how to talk to people. We are still going to learn how that works in practice, how we advise the sellers and the buyers the best way possible. That is seriously one of the best things about our team, I think, is that we're very collaborative and we talk all the time about what we're seeing, what's happening. Like we do, we've done 750 transactions already. Every time we have a listing, there's multiple offers. The listing agent sees something and goes, this is an interesting way to put it. Tells everybody who's submitting offers, hey, here's a new thing that I'm seeing from other people. You might want to try that. It made this offer more attractive. Or, hey, this is what I'm seeing. This is what we were seeing. The seller decided not to take the offer because the buyer had this clause in their offer. This is something to kind of avoid. So we're like, then this is one of the key things when we wrote down like what are the kind of people that we're looking for to join the team. People who are collaborative, people who are super committed to being good at their job, people who are really committed to learning is like a baseline here. Part of why we have curious in our name, honestly, because it's true. It really is like, it's really real. So I think that we all foresee there being downward pressure on commissions. That has been happening for a while. So yeah, if some agent's like, I'll charge you 1% to go, see houses, that's cool. They might want to, our job is to make the argument of why people should be paying us more than that. I think it could end up actually being much better for people working with buyers, but that's a bigger conversation. And actually one that we're going to have on Thursday. So we haven't even announced it, but we're going to have a webinar on Thursday that's called like the NAR settlement, who we think is going to win, who we think is going to lose. So definitely you can join that. Right now, the way that a pathway to work, to working with our team kind of works is that you come to one of these webinars. The next thing that you do is you sign up for your real estate classes. So one of the places that I really like is NYREI, New York Real Estate Institute. They often have like Groupons, weirdly. There's another one called it's like the CE Center or something. They're all kind of the same, like I don't think it matters that much. I did mine online 1,000 years ago. It was fine. My hot tip for that one is you need about 70%. You need 70% to pass it. So I don't know if I'm legally allowed to say this. I won't say anything. Let's just say that like there was some information that I was like, I need to retain this information because it is going to be really important for my job and my clients. And there was some information where I was like, never probably going to come up again. And I just cleared it right out of my brain to leave space for other stuff. There is a school exam and a state exam. You have to pass both. Some people say the school exam is harder. Some people say the state exam is harder. I don't know. I don't think either of them are particularly hard, especially because you don't need 90% to pass. How many of you guys are already in a course or signed up for a course? You could just actually drop it in the chat maybe. If nobody is, also cool. I know at least one person here is actually licensed already. So licensed in Tennessee. Yep. So someone who's licensed in another state has to redo their I mean, most states. There's some states with reciprocity. So you could just kind of sign up. Like if it's Connecticut or New Jersey, a lot of the bordering states, other places you would have to do it again. Interestingly, oh, I signed up for NRER. The course expired. I did that first. Licensed in New York with a brokerage now in the city for 3 months. So the test is actually interesting and a little bit different for New York City because you have to learn about co-ops and you have to learn about other things. Up here, we're learning about septic systems, but we do have agents who have they're basically dual licenses. So they have one license hung with a brokerage in the city, and then another one with us or another brokerage up here. I would just say, as one of the things, I think it is close to impossible to work in both places. And that is the God's honest truth, because this is other hot tip. This is a full-time job plus to be successful at it. It is. People are like, I like it because of the flexibility. I like it because it is, you are going to, and I'm going to tell you guys as much bad stuff as good stuff about this, because this is, I love it. I love it. And I hate it some days, just like most jobs and things that you do. But you have to literally be willing to give up your weekends and evenings. That's just like facts. Like I don't know how you do this otherwise. When we looked at, Eric and I talked about who are the people who are successful on our team, who have we seen who are successful. It's people who are willing to drive long distances, to be in their car a lot in our area. It's people who are gonna, unfortunately, you got a call during dinner, you're gonna have to call that person back, that night if it's urgent. If you're talking to buyers, you can do a buyer consultation, or your sellers can only talk outside of their normal office hours. You're on the phone at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. You're talking to them on the weekends. So that is the first thing to say. And Todd, to answer your question, is there a different course depending on where you currently live? Yeah, they're going to ask you if you want, it's not where you live, it's where you want to practice. So they're going to say, do you want to do the New York City course or the rest of the state course? So it's not just like an upstate course, it's like a whole rest of the state course. If you have a license in the city, you don't have to do that separate course again. It's just that you have to move your license to upstate or get a second license up here. It takes a few weeks actually. So you do your license. The next step is that, and you can also watch, Place has some career night calls, which are these webinars about how you get to a six-figure, how you do get to that six-figure income in real estate. There are some things that we don't do that follow the Place model. One of the primary ones is just a legal thing. Like we can't cold call anybody in our state. That has been like that in New York State for 2 or 3 years. We can call everybody in our database because they've all said it's cool for us to reach out. We have close to 26,000 people in our database. That is a lot of people that we can call and reach out to. Everybody in our database has signed up to be in our database, either downloading our app, downloading our newsletter, whatever, like subscribing to the newsletter. So when we call people, they're not like, F you, I hate you for calling. They're like, oh, Upstate Curious, cool. I'm not ready to buy right now, but yeah, I love getting your newsletter. But they're not like, we are known and trusted quantities to them, which is amazing to almost everybody we talk to. So after you've passed your exams or even have your license, you can, and we have a couple things that we're gonna sort of, basically we have a couple I don't know what to say, like little it's not exactly tests, but little practice things to kind of see if how you do with some of the things that you're gonna actually have to do as a real estate agent. The primary thing is we're gonna send you a buyer questionnaire, just one of the ones that we got from an actual buyer, and say, hey, can you send an email to pretend that you're sending an email to that buyer with some of the houses you chose. Like simple. But it's really important because being a good communicator in written and, and in person and on video, those are critical skills to being a real estate agent. So if you're, we're not going to give you like too many tips, but this is kind of obvious. If you send an email that's like riddled with errors, or is like you send houses that have nothing to do with what they've said, unless you have a reason to send it because you think it could be cool for them, um, then we're just going to say, we love you, but this is probably not the right fit for you. And that's good because we don't want you to join the team and then not succeed also. Because our team is we kind of do things at a pretty high level, which is kind of why we're we're doing so well. Like so that is why we are, we have these 200 whatever transactions a year. After you do that, there's going to be a couple other, like, so if you move forward past that stage, these like little mock things, then you're going to do an interview with Erica, who has like also a couple tasks to do before that. And then if you go past that thing, then you're going to have a conversation with me. And I'm to a large extent looking for like, yeah, just like anything, like if Erica sees some kind of a red flag or something that we need to discuss, it's really for me to learn about you because we're going to be partners in this, just like I'm partnering with Place. Like I see everybody on the team as partners. So it's like we have to be looking at each other like that. You're not an employee. It's like I want to help you build your business. You should, in a perfect world, like understand that like building the team is going to help you with that and is also important and supports the clients and your colleagues. So it's like we're just going to get to know each other and see if we make sense as partners. Because it's like you could be super smart, you could be super competent at this stuff, but it might just be that you're like, I hate you, Megan. I think you don't, do anything correctly. I want to work somewhere else. We know other teams and we know what their vibes are and what they're like. So we can absolutely recommend other folks for you to work with. There's no hard feelings. And that's true also. Like if we decide, let's do this, let's rock and roll here. Let's start it. Like if in the first like, month or something, or 2 months or 3 months, and it's usually at that 3 month period, you're either not, kind of hitting the team expectations, like you're not doing your agent launch, or you're pissing off everybody you talk to. I don't know, like whatever the criteria are, you're not meeting the team expectations, which are clear, then that might be a time to say, hey, this partnership isn't really working. If you feel like we're not, you know, meeting your expectations in terms of what we've promised you as an agent, that's a different thing because we can adjust that. Most things, like we can be like, oh, you're right, like we're going to give you some extra help here because this is new for us. We're building this part of our team together. We're working together to grow, which I think is going to give everybody, I know is going to give everybody more opportunities also, way more in a bunch of different ways. But it's new, we're breaking all our systems right now. Erica's there with a crazy glue to put them back together, but a lot of stuff is really like, with Compass in place, it's just a different world for us. Like we're able to have, automated checklists that are conditional upon this and this, so that all of us don't have to think as much because thinking's hard, or we save our thinking for the actual problems and the actual things we're doing to help our clients and helping our colleagues, and not like, where do I save those photos? That we don't want to think about. Hey, what stage do we sign an agency disclosure? Nope, don't need to think about that. That we're going to just have a process. Okay. Does anybody have a question at this point, or comments? Anything? Different things, anything surprising that I'm saying is also kind of, based on like what you've spoken to other real estate agents. You've watched a lot of reality TV. By the way, not a good representation of our industry in a number of different ways. So we do almost have a dress code, which is a lot of Canadian tuxedos, denim on denim, and blundstones. So we almost have a team like office. Like gingham just makes the cut just by a little bit, but like this is already stretching things here. Yes, thank you, Todd. You would be 1099 employees and not with us. So, 1099 independent contractors. So you are not employees. Get the Bunsen's now, exactly. So you're not employees. And actually, the only people that pay you is Compass. The team can never, like, the only people that can ever pay an agent for real estate related activities is the broker, which is Compass. You will also have a team agreement, which is an agreement we have with Place because they're our partners, that outlines the things that are well, that outlines our expectations, basically. That really says, like, here are the expectations that we have, here are the things that you can look to us for. One of the big things is lead generation. So we, we're committed to about 50% of your deals coming from team leads. The other 50% can come from open houses, prospecting, your own sphere of influence. And you can do open houses for other people. It's what a lot of new people are doing for other people on the team. It doesn't have to be your own listing. I said, we have hundreds of people. The reason we're having this conversation, sometimes thousands of people in our database who have visited the database in the last week who have not heard from one of our agents. When we talk to our Place consultants and partners, like, a lot of them have said that they don't even see, like, they've almost never seen something like this, where you have 25,000 people in a database, but you have, 200 new people in the database, of which, 27 have been called. You have literally like 5,000 people, of which 300 have been called or reached out to. So let me go to some of the questions here. Do we work with wholesalers or just sellers and buyers? I mean, if somebody's a wholesaler who is a buyer, we would work with them, or a seller. But no, it's just, I mean, that we don't really, that is not something that has come up a lot, I would say. We work with a lot of flippers and investors, so that comes up. The current agent count is, I think we're at, Erica, if we get everybody we were talking about, 23 or something?
Right now we have assigned 21 with a support staff of 8. So yeah, we're creeping up there.
So the thing that's interesting about that too is that, like, if you go to a brokerage here, a smaller brokerage, they will likely not have 8 support staff. Our monthly costs, our monthly expenses, and just so you know, the team pays for everything. So there's a lower split. So that is something we can talk about when you're interested in joining, but we pay for everything. And so the goal is you should end up being less stressed and have more money working on this team. Otherwise, why would you possibly be part of the team? So even at a lower split, that's what tends to happen. And our expenses are around 90K a month at this point, in terms of, like, the listing expenses, the staff, whatever it is. Like, this is all of that money goes to supporting the agents, period. Like, that is what we exist for. Like, that is, like, the whole reason me and Erica, like, I'm the CEO. I don't really work with clients anymore. Leads come in, they're $2 million who I worked with 2 years ago. That is going to an agent. Sometimes I do deals to be able to train agents. That is the only reason at this point. All right, Anthony asked how many agents. We got that. You mentioned other income streams. Yes. So the other income streams are currently with Place. They have purchased a mortgage company, a title company, insurance is coming. Place, the goal is to be all in one place, everything, for the home, right in that one place. So this is actually pretty exciting. So they purchased the mortgage. New York State is always totally complicated. So we don't have access to the mortgage company yet, but we will in the next couple of months. They bought it a year ago. Part of Place, we bought it a year ago. It was launched in the spring. We've had the first person make 25K a month through the mortgage company, which is wild. So this is something that there are a bunch of different ways that as a team we can get involved with it, as individual agents you can get involved with. Title and insurance also could be big income streams. So there's also, when you get to a certain level, there are different opportunities. The first 12 deals you do in a year, you're at the sort of real estate agent level. You get, like, all the support of the team. Once you get to above that, to 25 deals a year, or 250K of gross commission income, which would be about 120-ish of income to you, or 110-ish of income to you. So a lot of our agents fall in that category. You can start to do things like get revenue share. If you recruit an agent, you'll get 1% of their gross commission income, not net after paying the team and after we pay Compass, the gross commission income. So there's a check for $16,000, you're going to get $160 of that. You can do that with as many agents as you want. As long as you're with the team, you're going to get that money. You can also buy stock options, either 5% or 10% of your commission can go towards place stock options. This is one of the biggest things that I think, and Compass had stock options, and some people made a bunch of money, then it dropped really low. Place is a different kind of company. It was about 3 or 4 years ago that they had the Series A round of financing. The biggest investor is Goldman Sachs, a very conservative investing partner. They invested $100 million, and the valuation of Place at that point with that financing was $1 billion. They are a unicorn company. You've never heard of Place, right? Because they are a boring company. They're not going to be yet. They're going to be consumer facing. We are going to be consumer facing in the next few years. Place has been profitable since the beginning. This is not like, we're going to get this money. We're going to do, nope. Place has been profitable since the beginning. They're using this investment to acquire these other companies and to build the business. That to me is super exciting, because I lived in the first .com boom and we were going to go public, and then we didn't, and everything I'd earned just went away. So a boring company, it's not boring. It's actually super, super exciting, but it is like boring financially. That's profitable is pretty amazing. The goal, from what I understand, is to go public within the next 2 or 3 years. They will only go public once the stock options, or once they are valued at 4 to 5 times what they're currently valued at. When you buy options, there's a 25% discount, and then they add another 25% on top. So I believe the numbers were, Goldman got the Series A stock at $3.41. You'd be getting it $2.73 or something. That is based on a valuation that is when Place had 70 teams. Place now is going to, by the end of the year, support 400 teams. That was based on a valuation before they had acquired these other companies. Even Brivity, even just the technology, Ben Kinney, one of the CEOs, got an offer for that for $300 million a few years ago. So everything is more valuable. I am putting every penny I have, and I'm allowed to, into Place options. The goals of the 2 CEOs, and I haven't even talked about the culture and how amazing it is. The goal is to have more millionaires come out of this than in any real estate company ever. And these are 2 guys, Ben Kinney and Chris Suarez, who independently founded 2 of the biggest they own a bunch of companies. They own real estate brokerages. They had teams of 1,000+ people. They came together, which is wild for anybody who's that successful with their egos. They came together because they were like, we can support teams. This is what we want to do. This is our passion. Neither of them need to work a day in their lives ever again. Believe me. So this is we have calls on Friday at 11 a.m. that are just mostly personal development, but also now, obviously, we're talking about the NAR stuff, the settlement. And they are I have gained so much value in terms of, honestly, leadership, how I need to focus on profitability, why growth, what they say is that it's selfish not to grow, because you're putting a cap on the opportunities that you could give people. It's an incredible environment, and it sounds weird, and I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. The other shoe is not dropping. We're just finding layer upon layer of better things with this. So yeah. How does your schedule look normally? Could this be a right job for a mom with younger kids? So there are ways to do it. I would say that if you can't, it honestly depends on your childcare stuff and what your goals are. We have one agent who's had 2 babies with the team, and it's up to her how long she wants to take off or not. We're going to always support that. I would say that we have a Monday morning meeting at 9 a.m. We have three meetings with the team power-ups a week where we're doing role playing. Those are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3:30 to 4. We have the 11 a.m. call on Friday with Place. There's a listing meeting at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays. So there are some, like, this is different from a brokerage where, when I was in a brokerage, we had a meeting once every like 4 months to talk about a form. Like, this is much more collaborative. We're on Slack all day. If you haven't used Slack, just like talking to each other. It's not, so I would say it's not impossible, but it's a little hard because it's like, and you don't have to pick up the phone like while you're feeding your kids, you don't, but you might have to call somebody back later. You definitely, if you're working with buyers and somebody asked, do you work with, buyers or sellers? I think they did. Everybody works with both. It's kind of hard not to show on the weekends. Now, there are ways to partner up with other agents on the team and work with that. So maybe you're doing the searches, maybe they're doing the showing. So we are trying to find solutions to that. But the schedule, technically you're supposed to wake up and like kind of hit the ground running at, it's like a job basically, at like kind of 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. or whatever works for you. And you go through your database, and I was going to show you guys what that looks like. And this seems like a good moment because this is a lot of what you do on the daily basis. So this is the, wait a second, I have it somewhere weird. This is the cheat sheet for Brivity. So these are the 10 things that you kind of start your day. You work your new leads. When you click on this, it'll go right into your database in the CRM. So you just have to like literally, I'm going to click on this. I'm going to now do my priority 1 tasks. I'm going to go to recent website visitors. I'm going to sort by last visit. And then there are scripts. There are things to do for everybody. Like I never used to believe in scripts. I never used to believe in calling people. I was like, when I started with Place, I was like, we're not doing half of this. And then I saw more and more success for the agents who are doing it. And you guys as new agents coming into this system, like we're seeing it working. So that a lot of times when people join and start doing these things, the new agents actually eclipse the people who did not learn how to do this and aren't doing this. A lot of people who joined during COVID never had to. We just had buckets of leads coming all the time. So we would just be like, ignore any buyer who's not throwing money in your face. Recent market report viewers, hot leads. So you literally just go boop, 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 boopity boop. That's what you do. And I'm going to show you one other thing here, just to give you like a visual sense of how that would actually look. New share. I'll just do the desktop. You guys see this now? Can you see Brivity? Erica, you know. Okay, great. So this is what Brivity looks like. I have it scooched over on the side so you can't see everybody's names because I was like, that wouldn't be good. Lose confidentiality is very important in real estate. But we're going to look quickly. 839 people currently in our database who are in the opportunity pond, which is okay that is anybody in the team can call people in the opportunity pond. They have a phone number. They've been on our website in the last 30 days and we haven't talked to them in the last 30 days. So this is what I'm saying. Like when you go in, and this would be your own database too. So when you have your own people in your own CRM, and one of the first steps you do is put 200 people into your little CRM. And if you're like, I don't know, 200 people, again, there's a list that you get for how you can do that. So you can be like, great, like maybe I should call this person who's just at the website 2 minutes ago, who's come to the website 14 times, whose average price point is 900,000. That might be worth making a quick call saying, hey, can I help you? 20 minutes ago, this person's visited, 13 times, 551 is their price point. If you're like, meh, I just want to sort this way by the price, like you can do whatever you want. I don't care. Maybe I'm going to call this dude who's looking for things that they're 3 million. Maybe I'm going to call this person who's looking for things these are all people in the opportunity pond. These are all people who are there. These are all the people that have things that are 7 figures or more. They're looking at things that are 7, like I'm still going, that are up for grabs for any agent. They are. So that is pretty cool. Don't look at the names. Okay. And then again, this is where we get to like, this is the place, it's just very, you don't have to think about this stuff, is what I would say. And again, this is how the folks got the 4 accepted offers and 3 accepted offers. This is through this. What if I'm not ready? What if I'm not ready just yet to get another full-time job? Do you think you'll be adding team members over the next year? Is there a finite number of members? Kind of testing the water as Act 2. So what I would say is that we're always going to be adding people, I think. I mean, who knows? There could be like a weird national crisis and then we wouldn't. But as long as things are doing well, the expectation is we're going to keep growing. And weirdly, when you add people, it kind of begets more people. Like now we're preparing over 40 listings. The general rule of thumb is that for every listing that you do, there should be 2 buyers that are closed also, because you put that sign in the ground. Buyers come to the open houses. And that just happens statistically. That's true on our team too. So as we grow, we're going to kind of becomes a self-perpetuating process. We don't currently have a way to be a part-time agent, but there are ways to, like, once you get further along, to like shadow agents and do things. I would say that it's worth a conversation. There's not a pathway really right now, but there might be some ways to do it, particularly if like we have one person who's in Nashville right now, but she's going to hopefully be upstate full time in a year or so. We're figuring out ways to do that. We have somebody who's going to be living in the city, but it's kind of like the goal is to do full time if it all works out. The average commission per transaction. One moment, please. I'm not sharing my screen, right? This part I don't really. This part would be less good for you guys to see. So the average gross commission on the where'd it go? Oh, that's funny. I guess we don't calculate that. The average commission overall is $18,000, which then gets split, but we don't actually have the average commission between the two. The average home price for sellers is $853. The average home price for buyers is $675. On the listing side, we tend to get, you get more. It's hard to like share these things sometimes, but you get more commission almost always on the listing side than on the buyer side, which this might change, by the way. So I would assume that the average buyer agent commission is probably 70% of that. So probably like 15K, of which you would get, that's what gets divided between the team and you guys. Okay. Oh, I love this. Somebody asked, do we have any successful agents who are introverts? Oh yeah, Erica just wrote that. 100%. There's even a book, I think, about like introvert agents. Like, so this is going to sound weird to you guys, but I am kind of one of those people. So I can talk to you here. I can talk with people one-on-one. I'm great at that. But if I go to a cocktail party, I'm just like weird and I'm running around giving people random compliments about their shoes to try and make conversation. Like it's odd. And when I have like, after we have this conversation, I'm going to have to go sit in a room and not talk to anybody for like 40 minutes. It's tiring for me. Like, I don't want to go to group things a lot. So yeah. If you have the time and energy, how quickly could you reasonably expect to get your licenses, complete your exams? I've seen people do it in 2 months. Erica, that's not, I think it'd be hard to get it done quicker than that. You might be able to.
Yeah, I was basically like, if you went like all in and you had nothing else to do, yeah, you could get your license in 2 months. I think it's a little bit more like you've got other stuff to do, like 3 to 6 months. It depends. I think everyone learns differently.
And the exams aren't given like every day. So once you finish the coursework, and you have to finish the coursework before you can schedule the exams, I guess somebody could do it in 6 weeks, probably if they were really hustling.
Yeah.
Early in the call, you mentioned there's a ramp up period before you start earning money. Can you expand more on that year one for an agent would look like and some of the challenges they would face? Yeah. So what happens is that in our area, before you get, it's usually 3 months hideously from an accepted offer to closing. Nationally, and for us, it is roughly 25% of the deals from accepted offers fall apart. So we're at 23%. We beat the national average by 2%, but it's nominal. And that's because often what's happening is another offer comes in which is annoying. And so then until you're under contract, which can be 3 weeks from accepted offer to contract for annoying reasons that I'm happy to talk about, not today. During that whole time, other people generally are seeing it and can be putting in higher offers. So we lose some of them based on that. Some of them after inspection, the buyers get scared. Sometimes buyers are just like, don't want to do it. Sometimes sellers are like, don't want to sell it. That happens way less frequently. So the quickest you would have money would be essentially like, if you got an accepted offer in your first day, it would be 3 months later. But you're not going to get an accepted offer in your first day because you need to, you're trying to learn systems, you're making some calls. So let's say our expectation now, though, is you probably should get an accepted offer within the first 6 weeks. So then you're about 4.5 months from when you started to closing. Unless it's cash, it could be a little quicker. As you build up your own clients and as you build up, like, you get your own repeat referrals, it just gets easier and easier. And the fact that, but this is one of the things that, like, we had as criteria for people who want to be real estate agents, is you have to be like mentally and financially okay to have inconsistent income. Both of those things can be challenging, especially if you're used to a job, because you might be like, yeah, I have some savings, but if you panic when you don't get paid, we've seen people who don't get a check for 3 months and then get, $75K in commission income the next month. It's, even for agents that are really far along, it just happens kind of in waves. To some extent, it's seasonality. To some extent, it's just random, honestly. So I would say that that's why, like, your first kind of 4 or 5 months, you're just kind of getting everything rolling. Once you get things rolling, then you do get the regular income, and you can save, which I recommend, so that you can handle those kind of down months. And I would say the things that we're looking for, again, I'm happy to answer. Oh, here we go. If we were excited to talk more with you and your team, what point should you reach out? Yeah, after receiving the license would be the right point. And I would say to write to Erica, right? Erica at upstatecurious.com or info@upstatecurious.com. We'll see those. So we can just, Erica, if you want to just write those in the chat, that'd be awesome. The characteristics that we're looking for in general is a great communicator, like I said, personable, hardworking, collaborative, smart, very committed to learning and improving, tech savvy, which is real for us. We've had some people who aren't, and we can train a lot of things, but we're on Slack. We use Google Drive. We've always been a remote team. We have a workspace in Kingston. We have a headquarters in Accord. We work at both places sometimes. This is not like, we do not have an office you can go to every day. And that is awesome for most people. We love seeing each other. The team is pretty cool. So they do try and like meet up if you're, for a drink or for a meal, if you're somewhere near it. That also means you need to be able to work independently. Ideally, you're entrepreneurial. You kind of have to like houses, design, and upstate. And then it really is like, you got to be willing to work a lot, and at times that other people aren't working. It's kind of like the service industry. If you work at a restaurant, and you just have to be willing to drive a lot. Those are the main things, I think. If you are driven, and it's also, by the way, why we say, like, we really do want agents who can be full-time and want to make at least 6 figures, because we know we can get people there who are willing to learn and are willing to put the, effort into it. I think that's about everything I was gonna say. Like I said, Trish.
I hope it's okay if I jump in for a moment, but I just wanted to mention, as Megan's partner at Place, one of the things that is really important to us at Place is that we get agents into productivity as quickly as possible. And so, we have launch programs to help you do that. And then Megan will dive deeper into it, as you get further along in the process, but we have an opportunity model. And I can say the opportunities that Upstate Curious is able to provide for you are so much greater than a team that is not powered by Place. And she, touched on, subsidized healthcare, revenue share, stock purchase plan, all of these things that just don't exist in the real estate industry. And then we also have something that we call a leverage model. And the leverage model is really a path for you to be able to build a big business within the framework of Upstate Curious. And through this leverage model, you can get leverage for yourself. And so as you're building this team within Megan's team, have a really big business. But there's also an emphasis on quality of life. And so I'm excited for her to dive in deeper to the opportunity model, the leverage model, and the things that the Upstate Curious team has access to through their partnership with Place. Because for me personally, I've been a licensed real estate agent for 30 years, and I've never seen anything like this, in my entire career. And when I was introduced to Place, I thought, wow, this is truly amazing. And so I hope it was okay if I jumped in, but I wanted to share that.
Chris, filling in the gaps there. No,
Yeah, because it's exciting.
It's so, and it's like, again, it doesn't even mentioning these things doesn't even scratch the surface of like, there's going to be wealth certification. Like there's going to be, there's going to be information about how you should be building your own wealth. Like there's opportunities, like as you get further along, leverage does become important. We have agents who are way too busy. We don't want you to turn down business. So we're going to help work with you to maybe first get a virtual assistant and then maybe a showing assistant and then build a team within a team. Amazing. We're probably going to have an office in New York City within a year. There's endless opportunities. And literally, if we didn't have such a dumb system in New York State, I would tell you with the Place model, you would have your first paycheck within 6 weeks. It's literally just that we have this stupid 3-month period based on, attorneys being involved in New York, which they're not in every state. So you are still going to get, in my opinion, get paid so much earlier, so much more than in any other place. Like I said, the expectation with Place is that you do 24 transactions in your first year. That is the $100,000. Like that is breaking that in your first year from the moment you start.
And I think in regard to Todd's question, about the NAR settlement and the changes, we've been preparing for this for 6 months. And our co-founders, Ben Kinney and Chris Suarez, they're two of the most brilliant minds in the real estate industry. They're visionaries. And, Megan mentioned the consumer facing services. And right now, as a real estate agent, most real estate agents, get to service their clients every 7 to 10 years when they go to buy or sell a home. And so what Ben and Chris's vision is that we're able to really close the consumer loyalty gap and ensure that your clients get value from you beyond the sale or purchase of their home, meaning the mortgage, meaning title, meaning insurance, meaning home services, where your client signs up for a home services plan for, and I'm throwing this out there, $59 a year. And, once a year, a Place technician comes out to their home in a Place van, walks in the door, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, Todd sent me over to do your annual 56-point inspection plan. The technician then changes out the smoke detector batteries and the HVAC filters, and then mentions, oh, by the way, it looks like your roof is at the end of its life. Would you like me to procure 3 bids for you? Oh, and by the way, Todd wanted me to ask, what are your real estate related plans for the coming year? See, in this way, you stay in front of your clients throughout the entire life cycle of home ownership. And essentially what we want to become is we want to become the Amazon of home. Everything home all in one place. So sorry, I probably said too much, but I wanted to jump in.
Not at all. And again, like they have, like, this is all articulated very beautifully in what's called the Career Opportunities Guide. And one of the things we do want to do, and Eric, I think we can send this out to everybody. I do want you to go to the Place Career Night, which is offered once a month, which I think is a really good way to hear from them. But like, you cannot believe how smart these guys are. Like literally, like it's like not just smart, but like Chris Suarez is a baller. Like he's a billionaire, and he's like, I would imagine his net worth, just based on everything we've heard, is that. And then he takes his family to the Tokyo Olympics for 12 days. he goes to like Boston for whatever. Like these are not people who are like, you have to give up your life. In fact, everything I said about giving up your life initially, once you get leverage, then you can start to buy back some of your time. Like I do not talk to clients, so I don't normally have to talk on the phone at night or on the weekends that much. So yeah, I think, and to answer your question, we don't have many international buyers, to be honest, but there are certainly US buyers who speak Spanish. So for Pamela, that I think is, I think that probably is very relevant. Yeah, I just, again, like my guess is like Trish is the person who recruited our team to place. And when she first said it, I was like, this sounds way too good to be true. And I called all these other agents or all these other team leaders like me, and they were all like, yeah, we happily give up 50% of our net profits. I was like, what is going on? I'm going to guess that some of this sounds too good to be true to you, or you're not going to know how different it is from this single agent pathway because you've never done that. Like when you are an agent working at a brokerage or even an agent working at another team, it is very hard in your position to like know how awesome this is. But we have people who've joined our team from other teams, other brokerages, being solo agents who kind of do know that. And with Place, this is that I feel like the opportunity lid has been 100% lifted for me. And that is true for all of you also. So Encompass is great, Encompass also helps, but Compass is not our business partner in the way that Place is. We're really part of Place. So yeah, I'm super excited you all came. This is our first one, like I said. So if you have questions or something like that, maybe just also you can drop a line to info@upstatecurious.com. We will, we will check in with you guys occasionally if you get to the point, like I said, where you're about to finish your license and want to have a chat then. Let's rock and roll. We can kick it all off. So thank you all for being here, and tell all your friends and clients, tell all your friends in the meantime to come buy and sell with us. That'd be pretty cool too. So we'll see you. Thanks very much for coming. Bye.